It's been said you are what you eat, but do you really know what goes into the food you're buying at the store?
In a Fox 25 investigation, our very own Phil Cross tells us about an alarming loophole that could allow questionable chemicals in your food. This is the story you'll see only on Fox.
Food isn't just food anymore. So much of what we buy is made up of a variety of additives and chemicals, but you would think that anything going into our food supply would have to be approved by the government, right? Well, you'd be wrong. Popping the top of a can of carbonated caramel-colored water, you can really taste that potassium citrate. Or how about heating up a quick lunch of modified food starch? Do you ever take the time to read what's in your food?
A lot of our food isn't really food.
Renee Sharp is the research director for the Environmental Working Group, or EWG.
Right now, the system is not in place where I think that people should feel confident about what's in their food.
EWG is behind a new app that will help you make heads or tails out of what's in your food. Simply scan a barcode and you can get EWG's ranking of your food based on scores of nutrition, ingredient concerns, and processing concerns.
We want to see consumers be empowered and given information that they can use to make good choices.
But is it possible to be fully empowered? It turns out declaring something safe for human consumption requires little or no oversight.
The food additive regulatory system is just broken.
This is not a new concern. In fact, a 2010 report by the Government Accountability Office criticized the Food and Drug Administration for its lack of control over how ingredients get on a list of additives called Generally Recognized as Safe, or the GRAS list.
If you get a food additive on this list, you can just put it in anything. And
the FDA refused interview requests, but confirmed the GRAS process is still voluntary. The agency spokesperson said in a statement, there must be reasonable certainty of no harm, even though that thorough review is voluntary. And that is troubling to groups like the EWG, which monitored a recent case of a questionable chemical making its way on the GRAS list.
The FDA came back to them and said, well, actually the level that people are going to be consuming is actually 5 times higher than the level that you're saying is safe. So that raises some questions.
Sharp says the company withdrew its request, but labeled the chemical the FDA questioned as safe anyway.
There are other substances that are on the list that the FDA considers to be generally recognized as safe, which the National Toxicology Program, is considering to be a potential carcinogen, or reasonably anticipated to be a carcinogen.
So what can you eat without fear? Well, one way the EWG recommends cutting out potentially harmful chemicals is to buy organic whenever you can. There are more restrictions in the processing of those items. Now, we put some other tips on how you can make sure your food is safe on our website, including how to get EWG's app. Just head to OKCFox.com. Reporting in the studio, Phil Cross, Fox 25 News.
And once again, the FDA declined our request for an interview, but said the process of adding safe ingredients should not concern consumers.